Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredible, high-stakes journey a scientific idea takes to become a real medicine, and we're going to do it through the lens of the urgent fight against ALS. It all starts with this simple but absolutely critical question. A breakthrough happens in a lab, maybe a new gene is identified, or a new pathway is finally understood. But how does that discovery actually get from the lab bench into a vial and then into a patient's hands? Well, the answer reveals one of the biggest challenges in all of modern medicine. And that challenge has a name, the discovery to drug chasm. And wow, that is the perfect description for the massive, massive gap between a great idea and a therapy that can actually help someone. So just look at the two sides of this chasm. Over here on one side, you've got academic discovery, the world of brilliant ideas, promising research, new gene targets. But then, way over on the other side, you have patient therapy. That's a world of rigorous clinical trials, complex approvals, and huge manufacturing operations. Honestly, they're two completely different universes. And the gap between them, it's just immense. We are talking more than a decade of work, and literally hundreds of millions of dollars. You see, academic labs are fantastic engines of discovery, but they just aren't built to handle the financial and logistical hurdles of drug development. So what happens? The best ideas, they can get stuck. Okay, so how do we build a bridge over this chasm, right? How do we make sure that all this brilliant science doesn't just stay in the lab? Well, this is where a special kind of organization steps in, these primary accelerators and venture funds. You can think of them as the master bridge builders. Their entire purpose, their whole reason for being, is to build and finance the companies that can carry a discovery across that gap. And they provide all the raw materials needed to build that bridge. It's not just about the money, though of course the startup funding is crucial. They also bring deep business expertise, and this is so important, experienced leadership teams who have walked this exact path before. But a discovery can't just walk across the bridge on its own, right? It needs a vehicle. And that's where the next piece of the puzzle comes in. These accelerators, they build that vehicle, a brand new biotech startup. And it's a really focused, methodical process. First, they identify the most promising science, then they assemble an expert leadership team, they make sure to secure all the intellectual property, and then they raise that initial capital to get the engine started. And each one of these startups has a laser-focused mission. It's built entirely around a single, specific scientific innovation. And that singular focus is what gives it the absolute best shot at developing a targeted, effective therapy. So now that the vehicle is built, it needs fuel for the long journey ahead. And it definitely needs a map. The fuel comes in stages. It starts with seed funding just to get the lab up and running. But then come the larger Series A and B rounds, which provide millions to power the company through preclinical testing. And that's the supercritical safety testing you have to do before you can even think about human trials. Each stage is a huge milestone on the journey toward patients. And the map? Well, that comes from strategic partnerships. These partnerships act as the navigation system, connecting the young startup with the deep expertise of academic institutions and the massive resources of large pharma companies. Believe me, that guidance is absolutely vital for success. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, I know, but let's look at some real-world examples. Let's meet the All-Stars, the organizations leading the charge in the fight against ALS. First up, the ALS Investment Fund. This is a specialized venture capital fund, and it's got some serious scientific expertise. By partnering with the ALS Association, it raised an incredible $100 million dedicated solely to this cause. Just amazing. Then you've got an organization like Target ALS. Their model is just fascinating. They act as this powerful connector. As their quote here says, their innovation ecosystem creates a space where academic labs and biotech firms can collaborate directly, which just speeds up the entire process. And this table just lays it all out so clearly. You can see the ALS Investment Fund is pure venture capital. Target ALS is a nonprofit accelerator connecting industry and academia. And then there's a third powerful model, the Milken Institute Spark, which acts as a philanthropic accelerator, strategically aiming donor funding at the most high-impact research. So you have three different models, all driving toward one shared goal. So what's the ultimate impact of this incredible collaborative ecosystem? I mean, what does this all mean for patients? Well, it really boils down to this simple but unbelievably powerful equation. When you combine the discovery engine of nonprofit science with the development engine of venture capital, you get a much faster, more direct path to potential cures. It's that simple. And the results really speak for themselves. In the past, there were only a handful of drug programs for ALS. But now, thanks to this coordinated ecosystem, there's a vastly expanded portfolio of therapies in development. It's a dramatic increase in the number of shots on goal against this terrible disease. Ultimately, this ecosystem serves as the critical link in the chain. It ensures that the best science doesn't just die in the lab. It transforms those promising discoveries into organized development programs that bring real, tangible hope to patients and their families. And this really shows the new landscape of hope that we're seeing. It's a system that is designed from the ground up to accelerate progress. Which, leaves us with one final and very exciting question. With this powerful ecosystem now firing on all cylinders, what breakthrough will be next?